Morning, everybody. Welcome to Pain-Free Posture. Grab a mat, 2 blocks, and a strap if you've got them, so that you can press up on it, work those side muscles, and we'll get started. Do a quick check-in with your body and just feel your feet on the floor. Notice where you're starting today. How balanced do you feel? And then from there, let's go ahead and start with your head. Bring your arms out to the side, straight out from your shoulders. Take your ear toward one side and bring the opposite arm in so that you're lengthening the nerves on this side, or allowing them to be lengthened, pulling them through the neck space, and then bringing the head back up. Arms out to the side, hold it in, ear toward your shoulder, and up. Keep going. My mom said no sound here. Can you all hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
We can hear you just fine.
We can
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay. Thank you. I'll take you back to mute. I could take it up too, and I don't know if that picks up the mic better or not. But okay, back to those. Over to one side, and up, and over to the other side. And up. Just see, how is that? So the muscles that are working in your upper body and the nerves that are the power supply to those muscles come through the cervical vertebrae, come down either the back of the shoulder or the front through the brachial plexus. Go ahead and release those, and then just take your head around in a circle. And reverse. And then comes down in the front, lengthen. See if you can get your chin to tuck all the way, and then your head to slide forward. And then come back, ears over your shoulders, and look up. And if there's a possibility of allowing your shoulders to release down your back a little more, allow that to happen. And then head up, chin tuck, head forward, and come up and take it back. Good. Now just play with your arms a little bit. Press them back in different angles. Feel how balanced it is between the right and left side. Flip them over and press. And then shoulder rolls up, back, and around. Reverse. Arms out to the side, little over and a lateral flexion. If this feels early to you, just make that a smaller range of motion. Don't push into big end ranges. Some people still have fluid in that disc space that maybe has thickened the spine or made the space more narrow. And it may feel less comfortable to go side to side. But take your feet wider. So play with how it is in your body, end ranges. Wider, one more time. Back in, feet hip bone distance apart again, right under these ASIS bones. Over again. If you had a hip that maybe was a little elevated, or you sit a lot, these muscles in the back called your quadratus lumborum, sometimes they hike a hip up. Sometimes it's a tensor fascia lata that hikes the hip up more in the front of the hip. Either way, if it feels like that's a little out of balance, sometimes that exercise can take it out. Hold your fingers to touch your palms, arms by your sides, pinch your shoulder blades together, bring your arms straight out to the side. Feel both shoulder blades squeeze to the spine evenly. And then just notice, so I have one side, this right side, that tends to be a little forward. It's harder for me to find the muscles on the back side of those shoulders to get them to squeeze. How is it for you? Keep it there. Circle forward. 40 circles. Release. Palms up. Squeeze. Backwards. And release. Find your rib cage. And see if you can move your rib cage side to side. Find a little bit of mobility just in the rib cage. And the rib cage do a circle. And reverse. Nice. And then how does that have you sitting or stacked on top of your body? Come into short foot. Take one step forward, about just a little bit farther than your foot is from the other foot. Bend your knees. And we're pulling on the muscles that cross the hip and the knee here. So it may change the position of your pelvis. One hip is in flexion while the other one's moving into extension just a little. Make sure that back foot is straight, and then go into short foot. Lift your toes and find the muscles as you press them down on the bottom of your foot. And you may notice that muscles either in the hamstring or the lateral hip start to also wake up. Lift your toes, the whole thing, all of the foot stays down, and then press your toes down into the floor. Lift, press, 20 times. Take some deep breaths. Feel the space in the rib cage move in that east to west direction, laterally out to the side. Lift your toes, press your toes. And maybe you get lower, the Achilles starts to let go, that back foot, 50-50 weight between your feet. Big deep breath. Exhale all the air out. Full breath in. And then come up, switch your legs, go back to the first foot. And this time, hands behind your head, pull your elbows back. Really find those upper back shoulder muscles and maybe even feel things into your arms. And then little squats, down and up, 10 times. Switch. Excellent. Now, if you have a wall, go lean against it. We'll find that anterior tibialis, the front of your shin, by picking the whole ball of the foot, or front of the foot up, and then set it back down. Take it all the way up, set it back down. Lift and lower. That's 3. We're going to 20. And then turn around, hands on the wall, and go up onto your toes. I'm going to just turn sideways. Up onto your toes, calf raises, straight legs. 20. So working the muscles of the lower leg right now, mostly into the gastroc. That's that outermost calf muscle. We want to see if we can build it up on the inside of that calf. And then go into the soleus, so go into a knee bent position and still go up onto your toes. Excellent. And then back against the wall one more time. Feet off the floor. So find neutral and then Go into those lifts. Find the whole front of your foot. Pull the outside edge of your foot also so you get these muscles on the side, the peroneals. Awesome. Come down to your hands and knees, cats and dogs. Let's find spine articulations. So rounding and arching, but starting at the bottom. So as you go into that tuck, feel one vertebra at a time move through. Let your shoulder blades come off your back all the way till your head goes down. Then lift your tailbone. Move into that space. Arch the low back. Come through between your shoulder blades. Lift your head. Take a breath there. Does it feel even right to left? Then chin comes down, head slides forward. Feel it open the space on the back side of your neck here. Pushing into round through the shoulder blades. Find the belly muscles and into the back. And up. Come through and up. Down. Come down onto your stomach. And then just set your chin on your hand so that your neck is in extension. Your belly is down. Feel your rib cage on the floor. Let the floor hold the front of the ribs down. And then just come up. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Let your feet pigeon toe and your heels turn outward. And then 3 deep breaths. Fully in. Expanding the rib cage laterally. Exhale completely. Squeeze the ribs together. Inhale. Fully expand. Exhale. Squeeze the ribs together. Inhale. Fully expand. Exhale. Squeeze. Okay. Then arms out in front of you. Head down. Lift your right arm off the floor 10 times. And left side.
Muscle to now work.
And both together. And move your arms out to the side. Full breath in. Full breath out. Right hand and lifts. left hand. Hold together. Straight out from your shoulders. Right arm first. Actually, let's go left arm first, just to change it up. Right. Both. And then come back to your hands and knees. As you lift your right arm off the floor, come into a cactus arm position, and then reach that arm all the way out so the shoulder blade has to glide with it and the rest of your spine is staying stabilized. Bring that down and then down to the floor but not touching the floor. Let's do that 5 times. Lift it up to a cactus arm position, reach it out away from you. Everything else stays stable. Pull it in, release it down. Lift, reach, down, release. Shoulder blade comes up onto the spine, shoulder blade rotates. As your arm goes out, pull it in, release. 3, 4, 5. Switch sides. Hold it down in a square. Bring that 3-point horse stance. Bring it up onto your back. Reach away from you. Bring it in. Bring it down. Feel your core working. Into your static extension position. Move your knees back slightly behind your hips. Let your pelvis roll over the top of your thigh bones and keep your arms strong like pillars, and then let your chin go down and your head drop. What we're looking for is it even between your shoulders, the rib cage, and the pelvis as you restore those spinal curves. Letting your head drop all the way down, shoulder blades drop all the way into that position. And then chest openers, move the elbow. So we're in a closed kinetic chain with the arm. We can drive the rotation right into the shoulder joint. Rotate the elbow so that it moves the shoulder joint, and see if that evens anything out in the rib cage or in the shoulder position. Feel it into that low back. And then gently come out of it. Beautiful. Come up onto your knees and then come around and onto your back. I'm gonna roll to the side just so I have good spine hygiene as I go out and then onto my back. And then extend your legs out straight. Find stability between the bottom of your rib cage and the top of your pelvis. And just notice, like, do a few femur rotations. Can you balance on your sacrum? Do you have pretty even rotation in the leg bones? And stability in your spine. So keep this. Imagine that if someone pushed their fingers into your belly and you were to push them out, it's the same muscle you would use to push out a fart. Find the stability there, and then take the opposite arm, opposite leg up and down. See if you can do that without your spine moving them really at all. So maybe the knee doesn't come up so high before we trigger the low back to start to turn under. How can you just keep this stable and pick up the leg? Allow the floor to be part of what's holding that stability. Now, pull the leg in. This time, go ahead and let the leg bone come up to the place where it starts to hit the leg and pelvis, and the pelvis will start to turn under on one side or go a little more posterior. And just feel in your hip where that is, and then down. Switch, take that leg up. And just notice, like, if you take the knee out to the side, can it go farther before it hits that edge? I can. If I'm in here, it hits a lot sooner than if I go slightly wider. I can get my knee to come closer to my armpit. Switch. Do you have that on both sides or just one side? Then go back to straight and stable, or slightly wider is fine and stable. Just hold that stability again. Good. Okay, now roll to your side, grab your block, and place your upper back on your block. What I want is the ability to allow your head to go past neutral.
What's your upper back?
So,
Right you.
as you drop the head back like that, it changes the curvature of your neck, how the nerves are moving. Then I want you to take your tongue and press it to the top of your mouth so that you create stability on the inside. And then lift your head just a little bit up, just past neutral, and then control it all the way back down. It's like opposite of the text now. All the way up. And down. Control, regress that movement. Good. Tongue to the top of your mouth. Chin down, hold, finding those deep neck flexors. Release. There shouldn't be any pain in any of these movements. If you have a clunk, see what you can do to try to engineer that clunk out. Stiffen, lift, slowly release. Stiffen, lift,
Down.
slow.
Down farther.
I'm out on my head. Nice, huh?
How'd that feel? You okay? I'm hoping that that movement gives the nerves that goes into your upper body some more movement in places that could be stuck, and just given that so many of us are spending so much time with our head in that down position that we start to work the other direction.
See what it was.
Okay, let's gently twist. Upper spinal floor twist. So
Ooh.
stacked, arms out in front.
Break them.
Checking with your body if twists are okay for you today. And
I think I can do another set. You don't, I don't have one.
some of us go forward and backward better than we twist. You can make a fist and open that arm, and maybe that will use the muscles that are connected by a fascial chain all the way into the upper back here, and the twisting will happen more easily. Twisting happens easily based on the shape of the discs and the shape of the facets and how much room you have in your spine. If you've done something where you twisted one direction a lot, like snowboarding or skateboarding, or rowing, or baseball, or golf even, may change how your back has formed. Big full breath.
I was leaving it.
At all.
Untwist. Roll to the other side. Stack your knees. Open that arm. Fists and fingers. This should happen easily. You don't need to push into ranges that your body doesn't want to go by itself. Big full breath. One more full breath in. Exhale, squeeze your lungs. And then untwist and come onto your back. Just give your back a moment just to square back up again between your hips and your ribs. And then let's cross the left ankle over the right knee. And then bring that whole thing as a unit down to the floor and press your knee away from you. Look to the left. Shoulders can move into their space, hands down on the floor. As this femur moves into that external rotation, we change any disparity at the level of the sacrum. Hopefully restoring a more even hip position between the two sides. Come on up. Switch. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. Let it go all the way down to the left side. Look to the right. Notice if the right shoulder wanted to lift up, and see if you can just tuck it back under. Just again, notice the difference between the two. Big, full, deep breath. And then bring it up. Excellent. And then with your pelvis on the floor, gently rock it back and forth, pelvic tilt. And if you discovered that your pelvis, your hip moved better when it was slightly wider than your knees were slightly wider than your hips, then maybe try a pelvic tilt just in that slightly wider position and see if the pelvis moves more easily or is more balanced through your spine. Excellent. Then both feet on the floor, arms out to the side, turn your palms down. Take your shoulders, make them as even as you can on kind of down and back, and then lift your hips. So find your butt, your hip strength, and then lower back down. Lift and lower. 20 times. Roll to your side, grab your block, place your block underneath your hip. Then gently set your shoulder or elbow down on the floor and lift your feet off the floor. Get as straight in line with your body as you can and hold it all off the floor. You come up more on the elbow or no? Okay, hold it up there. So this underside is working to hold your spine straight. Your rib cage and your pelvis are in line with your shoulders, holding everything stable. Big breaths. Let's take that top leg even higher. Hold it up there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find that medial glute. Take the leg behind you. Turn your toes down to the floor. Find this spot right in the back. Hold it up there a little bit higher. If you can get it. And bring it in. Nice job. Switch sides.
It's kind of a Pilates, riff on a Pilates.
What, ready? Or whoever said that?
I think they were saying that the riff on Pilates, but I can't seem to do it totally on my side. I have to be rotated onto my plate. Otherwise, it's too painful.
Because it hurts or just because it's not stable?
Because it hurts on the block. It's like too hard on my hip.
Okay, so listen to your body. That's the bursa right on that hip, and it might just be too much to be right on top of it like that. So listen to your body. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if it feels okay, go to the other side. You could move it down your leg a little bit also, maybe that would, you could try it, or up higher. Just feel if there's a spot on that hip. My leg didn't like it lower. Feel if there's a spot that you can find that feels okay. And just honor if it's too much weight or the block's too hard, just honor your body and say, no, that's not working today. You could also, an alternative would be to be here and to press up and just still get the benefit of this stabilization without that. Okay, lift that top leg up, hold. And turn your foot, move the leg behind you, find this medial glute, this spot back here. Imagine someone's about to push your leg down and you have to resist and hold it. And release. Beautiful. Come onto your hands and knees. Come into a kneeling groin stretch. Shoulders down your back, come forward. Big deep breath. Switch sides. At the dogs once more. Test how well things are gliding and moving. And last move of the day, press yourself up into a downward facing dog pose. Press through your hands. Let your shoulders slide all the way up by your ears. And then find the middle ground. Pull your chest down to the floor, and if it feels better for you to have knees bent to have good spinal stability, then please bend your knees. And come on down. Come into seated or lying down. I'm going to talk about using a mantra today as you move into a meditation. So I think we all have the experience of having our mind get noisy. And personally, I have the experience of occasionally having that noise in my head not be very nice. So one of the ways to shift out of the mind is to give the mind something to do, which is to repeat a mantra. And Ram Dass's mantra was, I am loving awareness. You can, many of the phrases that are just more kind to yourself could be something that you could use. A simple om can be what some people use. I raise my vibration could be a mantra. It could be anything that just, you could use it to take over. So when you notice the mind get undisciplined and all the aspects of yourself that show up. So maybe the taskmaster and the controller and the rest part of yourself is in conflict. And so one part of your brain saying, I have to do it, and your body's saying, but I'm tired and I need to go to sleep, and the other saying, but if you don't do it, then it won't get done, and it just goes around and around and around like that. So sometimes we can just shift out of that by using a mantra. So I want you to think of a mantra today. I'm going to use that I am loving awareness. So as you feel your physical body, allow breath to move through the body. Let your mind move to a simple phrase that's kind and loving. I am loving awareness. Allow the mind to simply repeat that over and over. So the rest of you can be present to right here, right now. I am loving awareness. You notice your mind went somewhere else. Pull it back one more time. Whatever phrase you're using. As you allow your mind to have a task or a job, how do you shift then to the vibration of your heart and see what's there? Take one deep breath together. And gently come out of it. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. See you on Thursday.